athletic leagues, and whereas today the program registers more than 4,000 teams in all 50 states, Canada, and Puerto Rico, with nearly 72,000 youth ages 15 to 19 participating annually. And whereas Legion Baseball serves the young people who play for it through scholarships and recognition awards. And whereas graduates of Legion Baseball are proud contributors throughout our society and often are the most successful people in their respective career fields. Now, therefore, I, John B. Gilstrap, Mayor of the City of Danville, Virginia, on behalf of the City Council staff and residents, do hereby proclaim July the 26th through the 30th as American Legion State Tournament Week in the City of Danville, and encourage residents to attend the games and take advantage of the opportunity to share the hospitality with the players, coaches, and fans visiting our great city. Given under my hand this 19th day of July 2016, John B. Gilstrap, Mayor. Thank you, Commander Mitchell. And if you would like to say a few words, we'd love to hear from you. From the podium so they can hear you through the mic.
My name is Don Mitchell from Commander Post 325, and I do want to thank you all for this proclamation on behalf of Post 325. And with me I have here tonight, I have Lee Cox, Steve Walker, Lee Mayberry, and Jack Singh. And of course my wife sitting in the back, Teresa. If I forget her, she might whip me when I get home. We are proud to host Post 325 and host the state tournament here this year, and we're looking forward to seeing a lot of you people that come out and help support us. We have had a lot of support from area merchants and everyone around Danville, putting this baseball program book together, and with the help of Lee Cox, our baseball chairman, and Butch Francis, they all put the book together for us. And I do want to, I am proud of them for doing that, and it's going to be a great turnout. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of people here because we have we've all worked hard selling these ads for this program book to help, and a lot of supporters in and around Danville has really stuck with us and supported American Legion Baseball. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Commander Mitchell. Also, under recognitions, I would like to call on Alan Larson to give us an update from the DRMC.
Good evening, Mayor. It's nice to see you in that seat. Congratulations on your new position. Thank you for the invitation to come back again. It's a pleasure to be able to share progress we're making with the hospital, with the City Council, with our community as well. With your permission, I'd like to share some information with the council members.
Certainly.
Last time I was here, I shared some information with the board, with the chair, with the City Council. I think was helpful and insightful, but we've now published that information in an official document. Ken, did we get enough copies for everybody? Okay, good. I was traveling recently from Chatham. We're almost completed with our expanded facility out there. And I noticed there was a billboard on the side of the road as I was coming back showing another health system coming to our community talking about this is what commitment looks like. So with a little bit of angst, I share with you some commitment, or pride I guess I should say, and angst in their support Each year, DRMC develops this community benefit report that shows the ways that we're giving back to our community. First of all, DRMC has been here for over 130 years. We experience opportunities to give care to our community each day. Because DRMC is here, people don't have to leave town to travel for high acute quality health care. Commitment, to me anyway, looks a lot more like the things that are on this paper than things that are on a billboard or an ad. We've hired over 1,200 employees that are truly working each day to make a difference. In the last year alone, we delivered more than $44 million of uncompensated care to the community. Our annual payroll taxes are $77 million. Our annual taxes for local taxes to the city are over $1 million. And we've invested more than $2 million in capital equipment in the last year. We're in the final stages of upgrading our state-of-the-art linear accelerator, which will allow for the best quality of cancer treatment here in this community. We've provided over $200,000 of sponsorships to local charities in the community of 35 different organizations working together with us and helping us make our communities healthier. And we've also invested more than $300,000 in professional development and tuition reimbursement. We recently announced a partnership with Liberty University to bring 20 additional medical students to our community. So in addition to the residents that will be training here, that are this year 47 residents that we have, we'll have 20 additional medical students that'll be here for a 2-year commitment. Since I presented with you last time, we've now completed our chest pain accreditation. If you think about commitment to needs to the community, I think there are 2 things that I would hope that this council would understand of our value to the community and that our community would understand as well. There's 2 critical times when people's lives are at stake. There's several, but 2 that are most important are around stroke and around heart attack. DRMC is certified and just recently recertified at the highest level for preparation and taking care of those patients who come in for chest pain or stroke. So I think that also shows our commitment. That's extra work and extra effort and extra resources to make sure we have that certification. So we really feel like that we are committed to making this community the best place where people want to come for care. Our physicians want to choose to practice, and our community wants to come to receive care. So we're excited to be continued part of this community. We're excited for the new strength that competition will bring as Centra coming in a couple of months. I hope we can work collaboratively. We are working collaboratively on several efforts to improve care and help us evaluate the care that we need. But I think that the council would be pleased to know that our commitment to the community is pretty deep and significant. So that's the only report I would have tonight. Thank you for the opportunity. I'd be happy to answer some questions. If there's some concerns that the council have or the mayor.
Are there any questions or comments? Mr. Campbell.
I just wanted to say thank you for leadership of the hospital, and it was very impressive for the peace walk that we know that there are issues in our country, and they're very serious. And Danville Hospital took a leadership role. Of course, there were circumstances in our community, but I just want to commend you and your efforts and your staff for being efficient and concerned about our neighborhood. And of course, the revenue that comes back in our community is strong. Play a very important role. I just want to say thank you, sir.
Thank you, Reverend Campbell. We're excited to recommit our effort. As we mentioned recently, we kind of took a time off. It's kind of hard to walk this time of year. It's very hot and muggy. So I think starting with the event that's scheduled in September, we're excited to be part of that and make it be successful, and then continue. We'll reach out to this council again as ways we can help and be more supportive in those efforts. Happy to support the police chief.
Councilman Saunders.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to say, DRMC, thank you for what you're doing for our city and for our region. The fact that you spent $44 million $72,000 helping people who do not have the ability to pay says a lot. That you're helping people who cannot afford to pay for the health care. We thank you for that and all the other investment you're making in our city.
Thank you, Mr. Saunders. I know this council was asked to help in the past for supporting Medicaid expansion. It wasn't successful in the state of Virginia, but we're doing our very best to be able to provide that care even without that government support.
Well, we also thank you for the $1.1 million you pay in taxes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Miller.
Yeah, that was a comment I made the other night at a meeting. We really appreciated those taxes. And also the 1,300 employees, that puts Danville Regional as one of the top 2 or 3 employers in the city.
We take that responsibility seriously.
So, very valuable to this community. Thank you.
Councilman Vogler.
Alan, thank you for being here tonight and presenting us with this information, and thanks for all that you and DRMC do, particularly, I mean, just looking at all the sponsorships and donations and collaborations you have in the community is tremendous, and we look forward to continuing to see those efforts from you, and maybe might have some things we can talk to you and with you about in the near future, but thank you so much for all that you and the hospital do for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Jones.
Again, I ditto what Councilman Vogler stated. Earlier tonight, our attorney and Councilman Buckner, we were talking about what helps, one of the things that help our city progress, and you mentioned it about Central coming in a couple of months and how you're working together, and we talked about partnerships earlier tonight. It means a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Councilman Buckner.
Mr. Larson, real quickly, would like to thank you for the $77 million that you pour into our community every year. Thank you so much, and we really appreciate all that you're doing to make this city wonderful and the hospital great.
At the end of all that money, there's a patient there. I
Right.
think that we need to remember that. These are people who come to our hospital and entrust us to be able to take care of them. All those employees that we provide that income to are there to take care of those patients. So at the end of the day, all that revenue goes toward being able to keep our communities healthier, so we're glad for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Shanks.
I too would just, hate to sound like a broken record, but I too would like to thank you for all that the hospital does for our community, but in particular all that you do for our community. Your leadership during the spring or early spring, late winter with the walks, neighborhood walks, was incredible, and look forward to working with DRMC Cares on that project. And of course, the sponsorships that are listed here are wonderful. In particular, the sponsorship of the American Heart Association.
That was a fun event.
And the
I really
cancer
enjoyed
center.
that.
Yeah, thank you.
Let me add my word of thanks for being a great partner to the city of Danville, and thanks for the update, and we look forward to more. Thank you.
Need to give a shout out to Leslie Smith, who's here with me again. She comes each time.
Yeah, I got my hug from her earlier.
You did, and we appreciate that. Also, a shout out to the Boy Scouts who are here. I'm a former Scoutmaster. We got a scout troop from the church. Actually, we sponsor a local. They work on their communications badge. So
Let's have the Boy Scouts to stand and be recognized.
Gentlemen.
What troop is this?
Your troop? 373.
Okay.
Maybe
Thank
ask
you.
him
Welcome.
that.
Glad to have you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Citizens who desire to speak on matters not listed on the agenda will be heard at this time. Citizens who desire to speak on agenda items will be heard when the agenda item is considered. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on an item not on the agenda? Please come forward and identify yourselves.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, city staff, ladies and gentlemen of the audience. My name is Gary Wasson. I'm the director of the Danville Redevelopment Housing Authority. With me here tonight is Ms. Constance Covington, who is the chair of the Board of Commissioners, as well as the president of the Cardinal Village Tenant Association. And she has some comments that she'd like to make about the National Night Out coming up on August 2nd.
Good.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's so good to see all of you. Cardinal Village will be celebrating its 8th National Night Out celebration. We cordially invite, yes, thank you. We cordially invite all of you to stop by and attend. This is one of the biggest parties that's held in the city. On last year, we had over 1,000 people to come to this one event. And on that day, we're trying to make this event as big as any other year. We have a guest speaker for that particular night, and it'll be Elder Judy Fallon. She's from one of the recreation centers in the Camp Grove area. We have a DJ for that night. Plenty of festivities for the young and old. As you see, our fire kind of gets bigger and bigger every year. We don't know how to turn it down for that particular night. What we want our residents to do is to just learn to be neighbors again. So we have people from all over the city, north side, south side, and all in between. They will stop by on that particular night. So it's my privilege to be able to ask you guys to come by and to bless us with your presence. We know that you'll be riding the trolley from site to site, and we hope that you will take the opportunity to come and fellowship with us.
Thank you, but looking at your agenda, you left off Vogler and Sherman Saunders dancing. Did you?
Miller.
And Dr. Miller.
Yes.
I'll be there.
I'd like to keep that a surprise, Jim.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to spoil that.
Be doing the nay-nay.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Are there any others who wish to be heard on items not on the agenda?
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please state your name and pull the mic down so we might hear what you're
Yeah, I
saying.
am a little short on name. My name is Michael Miller, and I live at 2532 Franklin Turnpike. I'm a legacy member of the PDGA, that's the Professional Disc Golf Association, and administrator of several Facebook pages, including the Blues Brothers Disc Golf Club, Flight Fantastic Frisbee Museum, and the Danville Should Be Sued, although that last one is, while it's up, it's not published yet, pending how my issue comes out with the city. But it is accessible if you want to take a look at it. First, let me thank the former mayor for accomplishing in just 3 months what I could not accomplish in 6. And that was to get the accusations and punishment against me in writing, because then it's defendable. You can't defend something that's just verbal. The bad news is that if you thought this was the end of it, this is just the beginning. The good news is that it could be a quick fix if you just listen. And if you think this is just about playing Frisbee, then you must think that the Watergate was just about a third-rate burglary. This is about malfeasance by the city. It doesn't matter what it takes place about. Playing Frisbee, passing papers, selling things from your agency to the public, and pocketing the money. This letter is at best a careless lie, is at worst a calculated and malicious lie constructed to make the crime fit the punishment rather than the other way around. They've been trying to quell my criticism, just criticism, of the department and the management of the disc golf course for years. Now, we've crossed the Rubicon. What this letter does is gives me something to defend myself against. I'm not sure what to make of the punitive measures of until further notice. I don't even know what that means. Is Mr. Screen, you're going to wake up one morning and have an epiphany and Michael Miller can come back on the course or can be part of the voice? Now, on the back of the letter, there's a list of names that if you want to see if I'm an expert, contact one of these people. Google them first so that you'll know who they are. I suggest you start with Michael Conger, the recipient of the 2013 Lifetime Achievement Award from the Professional Disc Golf Association. He's our longest associate and strongest supporter and mentor. If you think I'm not an expert, please contact Michael and ask him. And why the city wouldn't want the most expert person to be involved in something that the city, the Parks and Recreation, Mr. Skriniar, works very hard. Mr. Bruckheimer has worked very hard to exclude me from any knowledge of what's going on in the course because I criticize it. Right now, it's a liability nightmare. If you Google disc golf injuries and you see the $4 million suit out of California, the multi-million-dollar suit out of New York, people that have been hit on the course by discs, that there's no signage on the course. There's no signage on our courses either. There never has been, even though I brought it up for 2 years. It makes it, the local disc golf community shuns me because of the meme that Parks and Recreation has created about my intention. This is not about sour grapes. I'm 65 years old. I don't want to work this hard. I should be doing what I do best, and that's mentoring young people and teaching aero sports. That's what I would like. That's my end game, is to have an MOU with the city. And it doesn't have to be with Parks and Recreation. It can be the health department. I have gotten grants. I've taught in the middle schools under the 21st Century Grant. You know, I can do this a lot of different ways, but I'm going to have to talk to the city about it. Now, my contact information is down there. You can contact me or not, but again, I won't be known as a potential shooter. And that's the way this letter makes me look. And plenty of you know that that's not me.
Okay, Mr. Miller, appreciate you bringing this to our attention.
I still have 29, oh no, am I over?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The red light means your time's up, and I didn't want to interrupt you in mid-sentence. But
Okay.
let me just say that, have you met with the city manager?
Not this one. I've written to the last city manager and got nothing. I've written to Mr. Lacey, gotten nothing. I wrote a letter to Mr. Raleigh, and funny enough, he kicked the problem down to Mr. Skriniar to solve. How do you think that worked out?
Well, let me just state that the way our city operates is a strong city manager. And so I'm going to refer this to our city manager, our new city manager, Mr. Larkin, and see, Mr. Larkin, if you can hear the concerns and see if there's any resolution. If not, then we have our city attorney, Mr. Clark.
I'd like for the city attorney to weigh in on that until further notice as punishment.
Okay. Anyway, thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you bringing this to our attention.
All right, thank you.
Others that wish to speak on non-agenda items. I think it's your turn. Come on. You started up twice.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. My name is Will Mackaman. I'm a summer intern with the Danville Regional Foundation, along with Jennifer Rangel. We're working in a couple communities this summer. I'm in the Cardinal Village community. Jennifer's in Glenwood. And we have a couple events we'd like to share with you and everyone here tonight. On August 1st, the night before National Night Out, we're bringing in a guest speaker, Mr. Frederick Newell, who founded his nonprofit in Iowa City that works to serve struggling young men and women in the community, as well as fathers. And we're bringing him in to hopefully inspire some more work in the community to reach young men and women. That's the whole point of this event, is just to reach more young men and women in the community and around Danville. So we're calling it Brothers Rising. We will also have some opening speakers from the community who are local leaders in the youth movement here. So all are invited to attend. It's 6 o'clock the night before National Night Out, just at the youth center. So thanks for your time.
Well, thank you.
Good
Thanks for pulling that down.
Good afternoon. My name, as mentioned, is Jennifer Rangel, and my event is the one on the red flyer. It's going to be a Danville talent show. Auditions are this Friday and Saturday that will occur at the Stonewall Recreation Center, and this event is put up with a good intention to just bring out the youth and help them come together and just to showcase their events. It's a non-competitive event. It's just to see the talents that they have. And also, the actual event, as you can see on the flyer at the very bottom, is July 29th from 6 to 8 p.m., and you all are welcome to attend. And if you know any kids who are willing to participate at this event, you're more than welcome to share this flyer with them. And again, it's non-competitive, just for a great time, bringing kids together and see what talent is out there.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate you bringing this to our attention. Any others wish to speak on the agenda? Mr. Lee Cox. I'm sorry. Please state your name. And lift the mic up a little bit.
I'm Lee Cox. I'm the baseball chairman at Post 325.
Excuse me, Lee. Could you lift that mic up a little bit so?
It's awful heavy.
You can make it. Thank you.
Can you hear me now? I'm the baseball chairman at Post 325. Welcome Comrade Gilstrap, Comrade Jones, Comrade Saunders, and council members and staff and lawyers and whatnot. We're having a brief ceremony before the home game Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. Comrade Gilstrap has assured me he has a 90-mile-an-hour fastball and is going to throw out the first pitch. I think I'm going to have a radar gun there to inform him, and I would be astounded if it's 90 miles an hour. And I would encourage you all to come see this 90 mile an hour. Look at he's blushing. And Lee Mayberry, before we leave, would like to have his camera back of which one of you rascals you got. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. Any others wish to speak on any items not on the agenda?
Good evening. My name is Gibran Castillo, and I'm part of the resident of the Danville for 10 years. And I just have a few questions about what game plan does the city council have for bringing more businesses here in the area, technology business, and if there's any plans for a smart city. I heard in the news that the city of Cleveland, Ohio is getting some investment to make that city as a test or some prototype for a smart city. And I just haven't heard anything from the city of Danville about anything like that, you know, bringing jobs and technology companies here in the area.
I'm going to refer that to City Manager Larkin for answers. Or you would to brief now, or you want to do that privately, or?
I'd be happy to meet with you privately about any of your questions, but I can tell, just for the benefit of the audience, that our economic development team is actively recruiting technology-based industries to Danville. As a matter of fact, we are working with a company that is located now on Bridge Street to encourage additional investment in that area as we speak. So there are active efforts on our part to recruit technology to Danville. I believe that you will see in the next few months some announcements related to that. But I'd be happy to put you in touch with people and our staff that could give you more specific information if you'd like.
I have to leave a little early before this session, so could I take a business card?
I'll give you my phone number. It's 799-5100. I don't have a business card on me. I apologize.
Okay.
Well, I don't think I do. Nope. Well, I do, but it's got my wrong title on it. Here's my card.
799.
5100.
Thank you.
And before you go, we have a question or a comment.
Yeah, I
Councilman
have a
Campbell.
comment, if I'm not out of order, Mr. Mayor. I think you bring up an interesting point. What does it take for us to be a smart city?
Well, I'd have to look into that. I'm not sure. I've heard that term before, so I'll look into that and see what it would take.
Councilman Vogel.
Thank you for coming and speaking tonight. And I think I don't want to take up the time to go through some of the things that we've been involved with in the last couple of years, but we've taken a lot of steps to bring Danville forward and be a 21st century city, not just with the economy, but what we do with services and things that are offered to our citizens, and trying to make sure that we're on the cutting edge. We were actually ahead of Richmond in some of the areas that we've done with the open data and things like that. So this council is dedicated to making sure we continue to move forward, and our city manager can probably let you know a little bit more when you guys talk about some of the things that we're working on. But thank you for coming tonight.
Right.
And let me just briefly say this, that I think council, and I hate to speak for council, but I think most of us are hesitant to say anything because so many. Councilman Vogel, did you?
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt a resolution providing for the issuance, sale, and award by the City of Danville, Virginia for one or more series of general obligation public improvement bonds heretofore all.
And electric system projects, but also I'd like to thank Michael Atkins and his staff in working through the logistics of refinancing some of our older debt that will save the city considerable amount of money. And I want to say thank you for that. I think it's an excellent initiative, and just wanted to let the public know. Thank you.
Other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mayor Gilstrap.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Jones.
Aye.
Dr. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Saunders.
Aye.
Mr. Shanks.
Aye.
Mr. Vogler.
Aye.
Mr. Whittle.
Aye.
Mr. Buckner.
Aye.
Reverend Campbell.
Aye.
B, consideration of approving a resolution of support with the Danville, Pennsylvania Regional Industrial Facility Authority. Councilman Vogler.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt a resolution of the City Council of the City of Danville, Virginia, approving a support agreement with the Danville, Pennsylvania Regional Industrial Facility Authority.
Second, Mr. Buckner. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Jones.
Aye.
Dr. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Saunders.
Aye.
Mr. Shanks.
Aye.
Mr. Vogler.
Aye.
Mr. Whittle.
Aye.
Mr. Buckner.
Aye.
Reverend Campbell.
Aye.
Mayor Gilstrap.
Aye. Consideration of council in the regular meeting of the City Council scheduled for Tuesday, August the 2nd, 2016, and scheduling a special meeting of City Council on Thursday, August the 4th, 2016, to permit members of council and staff to attend the local national night out. Your pleasure. Councilman Buckner.
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to approve a resolution canceling the regular meeting of the City Council scheduled for Tuesday, August the 2nd, 2016, and scheduling a special meeting of the City Council on Thursday, August 4th, 2016.
Is there a second? Dr. Miller. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Dr. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Saunders.
Aye.
Mr. Shanks.
Aye.
Mr. Vogler.
Aye.
Mr. Whittle.
Aye.
Mr. Buckner.
Aye.
Reverend Campbell.
Aye.
Mayor Gilstrap.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Jones.
Aye.
Communications. City Manager.
Yes, I want to thank the council for their support of economic development. As everyone is aware, we had a very good announcement of Overfinch coming to our community in the near future that came from the UK. I want to let the council and the public know that while we were In the QK, our contingent group, including Mayor Saunders and Economic Development Director Telly Tucker and 2 representatives from Pennsylvania County, had the opportunity to meet other companies in the UK that have expressed interest in locating in the city of Danville or in the region. While I cannot go into any details about those companies, I will say that there were productive meetings, and we have a lot to offer companies out there in the world, and I hope to have more positive announcements in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy City Manager?
No, sir.
City Attorney?
Nothing this evening, Mr. Mayor.
It's not on here, but Madam Clerk?
Nothing, sir.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Buckner?
Yes, to piggyback off something that Mayor Gilstrap said, I had the pleasure of meeting Mary and Wade Moorfield last weekend. They stopped by and saw me, and they agree that this is a wonderful time to be living here in Danville. And that's the kind of input that I love to hear from our citizens. They've been watching city council meetings on TV for years, and I hope they're watching tonight. And just would like to say it was a pleasure meeting them, and I love their drive for the city. It's very inspiring. They've been married for 42 years. They live on the north side of town, so they've really seen it change a lot over the years. I encourage everybody to do the Riverfront Survey. It's riverfrontsurvey.com. You can Google it, and it's to put your input in on our Riverfront Park across from Mee's Burgers and Brews down in the bottom there where the Field of Glory was. Also like to thank Post 325 for all they do, not only for the vets, but for the community as well. I'd like to also say hello to a very special guest in the audience tonight, and I will not say her name because I have to go home with her tonight. That's all right. Thank you, Mary.
Reverend Campbell?
Yes, I want to say you're a smart man, Councilman. Very briefly, our hearts this week and the past few weeks have been very concerned with what has been happening in our nation in reference to Louisiana, Minnesota, Dallas, Texas, lives that are lost. It's very, very disturbing. And to see our city moving forward, industry come into our area, it's very important that we continue in every kind of way to lift the awareness of nonviolence in our community and working together. We had a wonderful experience today that the Attorney General of the state of Virginia, Mr. Mark Harrington, was in our town and met with about 40 to 50 citizens and looking how we can engage more with law enforcers, not only here in Danville, but to assist in developing new policies. It was very enlightening and very encouraging. We have a great city, and we're moving forward in a great way. But I pray that what is happening within our nation, was happening within our nation, that it would not happen here in Danville. We have initiatives, as the chairman of the hospital with the Peace Walk and other things that are going on, and we have to look beyond differences of race and for us to come together more. And it's serious because we've already had 7 murders this year, and it seems like for the next 5 months it could get out of proportion even more. And I just can't sit here and keep my mouth shut at all. We have to, as mayor, council, we talk about National Night Out, we want to engage as much as possible to show our citizens that we can work together. We have to work together. There's no way out, and it's just very disturbing in my spirit, but there is hope, great hope. And I commend the Attorney General, I commend efforts in reference to we're doing September the 10th, partnership with the law enforcers, and see how AVERT is engaging in other institutions within our community. And it's important that we work together in every kind of way to lift the awareness of violence in our community. Violence is something that we see the results after it's done. But to implement initiatives of awareness that we don't have to go that way is what we should implement, and I hope that it can go to level.
We heard about the Boy Scouts being here tonight. Just so many wonderful things that are happening in our city. And just want to also thank Councilman Campbell mentioned the walk. There's also a walk planned for Thursday at 5:30. Pastor Charles Wickham and Trinity, they're planning a walk. Commissioner Covington and Mr. Watson, they're planning a walk from Trinity all the way through Arnett Boulevard to Cedar Terrace. And I plan to be there for that. Last week, we lost an outstanding educator and administrator, Mr. David Lyons. Once again, I'd like to extend my condolences and prayers to the family. He certainly will be missed by many lives. He touched as a coach, as a teacher, administrator, and a friend. Also, it was a great honor to fellowship with two beautiful young ladies this past weekend. The mayor and I attended. These two young ladies, both were 90 years old. Miss Gladys Carter, the mayor and I attended a family reunion and a celebration and birthday party for Miss Carter. She turned 90 years old. And then Councilman Campbell and I attended the next day with Miss Mary Strader, 90 years old. And that's exciting. These ladies have seen experiences more than I can possibly imagine over their years. And lastly,
performing these great paying jobs. I've said many times before, people are watching Danville more than we will ever know. For example, while there, I was talking about Danville and our region to some gentlemen. And they said to me, and I quote, "We know all about Danville, Virginia. We read about you all the time on the internet." People are watching us from all over the world. Fortunately, this group had a good impression of our city. Thank God for that. That spoke volumes for me. Mr. Mayor, our city has made and is making much progress. More evidence is imminent. It is just a matter of time before we see it. I ask that we stay focused, stay the course, and keep a positive attitude. Great times are coming to Danville and this region. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Shanks?
Yes, I just had one item tonight. Wanted to give out kudos to the Danville Power and Light for the tremendous job that the staff of Danville Power and Light has done under the most unusual weather patterns we've had in my lifetime that I can recall. One of the storms 2 weeks ago was straight line windstorm, did more damage than most of our winter snowstorms. And a lot of customers were out of service, but quickly they were returned to service. I think Danville Power and Light has an excellent staff, and we certainly are lucky to have that staff working for Danville Power and Light and taking care of our customers and our citizens. One of the things that has come up, though, is the ability to communicate with the customers, to let them know, the citizens know, what exactly is going on, what is anticipated time that the power will be out. I have talked with the Director of Public Utilities, Jason Gray, and City Manager Ken Larson. We're going to do better. The staff recognizes that during a power outage, you don't have your utility bill with your account number where you can call and get service. Your phone number might not be the one that's on record with the utility department. There are numerous things that can go wrong, but the public should be able to know, best guess, what areas are hit, what areas will be out for a long time, what areas should be up quickly, just so that the customers can make plans for what they're going to do over the next day or two. So I think I've gotten good vibrations from Mr. Larson and Mr. Gray. I think there's going to be hard work done by staff to come up with a better way to communicate with the customer and the citizens and the family of the customers in the future, and I look forward to that taking place. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Vogler?
Yeah, Fred brought up a good point, and since I'll just follow up off of what he said before I get into what I did want to talk about, and City Manager Larkin, the portal and the things that are being worked on, that have been in the process of being worked on, and being able to report an outage through a mobile device and things, well, that will incorporate, I believe, a lot of what Councilman Shanks is referring to.
Yes, it will. And we'll, in the meantime, do a better job of communicating the information through our social media and through Arnold Hendricks, our public information officer.
All right. Thank you. I also just want to thank everybody who came tonight, each and every one of you, taking time out of your busy day to be here for this council meeting tonight and come down to City Hall, and not just because it's a great place to play Pokemon Go, but because you actually care about what's happening in our city. So I just want to thank you for that, and particularly a young man I want to point out real quick, Taekwon Graves, who is here tonight, who continues to do great things in our community. Fantastic young man, and I don't want to reel off all the things because we'd be here all night, but he does a tremendous job, and you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we see his name on a ballot one day, and I hope that we do, because I would love to have the opportunity to vote for him, and I just want to thank him for all he does in our community. We've got some great events that are coming up over the next week. As been mentioned, the Danville Talent Show, the Fish and Friday fundraiser that's going to be downtown this Friday with the River District Association. There's Kegs on Main. There is American Legion State Tournament. All kinds of great things happening over the next week, and encourage folks to get out and say hey to folks and be a part of the wonderful things we have going on. I just want to take a minute to talk about some of the things that the other council members have mentioned regarding what's happening in our nation, what's happening in our country right now with communities and the police, and the dialogue that's happening there, and these are great conversations that need to be had. But if I could just take a minute to talk about our Danville Police Department and the tremendous job that they do, and try to put yourselves in the shoes of a police officer for a moment. When they wake up in the morning and they leave to go to work, you know, they know the risks that are involved, but they don't always know that they're going to come home that night. And think about the burden on their families, especially in a time like right now with what is happening in our country. I just want to thank each and every one of our police officers that we have here in Danville, because it is not an easy job. And I know that there's things that we all can do to improve, and especially the dialogue that's happening in our nation. But these police officers do a great job, and they put their lives on the line every single day to make sure that each and every one of us is safe. And you know, I'm darn proud to have them as our police department, and I just want to thank them from me. And as the mayor and others have said, it is a great time to live in Danville, Virginia, and I truly believe that the best is yet to come. Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Whittle?
Nothing.
Mayor Gilstrap?
Well, I would like to thank everyone for attending, and I'd like to thank council members for your due diligence and for your dedicated service to our community. And I know how much extra goes in to just reading your emails, not counting all the other meetings and functions. So I thank you very much. I too send out my condolences to the families in Dallas and Baton Rouge, and remind the citizens, let's pray for our nation and our city, that somehow we can learn to work together and get along. I too, I attended the funeral of David Lyons, and this young man was a coach, he was a referee, he was an educator, and he worked his way up to be principal of a school. And I'm sure that those that were at the funeral was so impressed with his two young sons. They just did a marvelous tribute to their dad. And so my condolences to the Lyons family. Industry coming to Danville's always great news. Thank you for those who went to England to make that announcement. That was great of you. Appreciate it. We expect one a week. Y'all, you can handle that, right? One. Okay, good. I would like to announce that we're going to see a slight, before I announce this, Gladys Carter, 90 years old. I was impressed with this young lady. Over 200 kids she has been the foster parent to in 90 years. That is amazing. A lot of them were there to thank her and pay tribute to her. So, tremendous lady. We're going to change this last roll call starting with the next meeting, okay? I think to be fair to everyone, we shouldn't just go in alphabetical order, and this includes the mayor. I don't feel that I should be singled out. I think I should be in the roll call, and what the last vote was, if Vogler was last, Madison will be first. And so we're going to continue that same roll call. And I think that's the fair, I think it will be fair. And don't skip the mayor when it comes to that. Don't save me for last. I'll speak when I'm on the roll. And last but not least, citizens, thank you for making this a great place to live. Meeting adjourned.